Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Monday. I hope that you all are doing well. I hope you had a great weekend. Emails have been answered, so if you've been waiting to hear from me, I've responded back to everybody this morning. Schedule is open, so booking of personal readings are available to you. That information can be found in the description box below to find the email to reach out to me for your personal reading. All right, Scorpio, welcome to Monday. This is going to be your weekly read from October 6th to about the 13th. This is going to be Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, as well as your North Node. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Nicole. For those of you returning, always welcome back. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the like, share, subscribes, comments, all the ways you support the channel. Today is the Aries full moon, super moon. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. I'm sure you're feeling the weight of this moon, and we probably will over the next week. A lot of changes are at hand, Spirit is saying. Immediately before I sat down to do this read, Spirit provided me with Scorpio. It's okay to wrap yourself in comfort and care of yourself. Taking care of oneself, loving, nurturing, giving to the things that get back to you. But more importantly, like, this is an investment. Investing in yourself this week seems to be the theme, at least as we start this week off. So do be aware of that. We're going to get the days of the week, Monday through Friday, see what's going on, clarify any of that energy. I said personal reads are open, channel memberships are open. Tonight, my intention at some point, is so long as everything goes according to plan around here, is to actually, instead of just doing the channel memberships, full moon read, doing a live to, Spirit saying commemorate this specific full moon, if I could talk. Also, Scorpio, your October read has yet to come out. I have you and 2 other signs to finish up at the guidance of Spirit. If you've got Libra placements, I intend on getting a Libra weekly out this week, as well as it is their season. If you're a Libra sun, happy birthday to you at this time. And let's just get down to business here, Scorpio. I think that's about it for the things that we needed to address from the jump. Let's grab one of these for our overall. Okay, Spirit, I stand corrected. We're going to grab one of these instead. Let's see what this week is looking like for you, Scorpio, in an overall theme. So, Spirit, for the Scorpio collective, October 6th through about the 13th, Spirit, what you got for Scorpio out there this week? Some of you could be dealing with headaches, shoulder pain, Mercury messages. Scorpio, well, let me rephrase. Mercury just moved into Scorpio today, or is moving into Scorpio today. So a lot of communication it seems to be coming through this week. Spirit, some communication you're going to want. Some of that communication you're going to be like, no thanks, we're good here. In the 11th house community. So very heavy on dealings with other people, Scorpio. That 49 breaks down to a 13. Death, transformation, rebirth. The choice is yours. What you do with the people, situations, environments. I do feel like there is, Spirit's calling it an eclectic, diverse groups of people, or people in general, that you will be dealing with this week. Prepare yourself, because you might be in a feel-good energy. Maybe you're a little grumpy. And it's like you're going to kind of have to, I'm going to say, Spirit saying fight fire with fire, but you also want to be cautious, because you do see these 2 snakes. They're at quarrel with one another, right? They're ready to attack, but that is also the medical symbol of healing, right? Reminds me of the 2 of Cups. So you could have had some quarrels. You may have some quarrels or a difference of opinions around things that, man, it's like putting a stake through it, right? Like, you think about, like, I'm not one to kill a snake unless it's in my space. Like, I just stay outside, away from my domain. That's just me. I just don't. As much as Scorpio is seen as a snake in a sense, right? It's not my thing, right? Like, stay outside, stay away from my house. You're in the yard, I'll let you be. You come into my garage, adios. Sorry if that offends anybody. That's just me. But this is like, it could be territorial this week, Scorpio. You're protecting your space, you're protecting your peace, you're protecting yourself. if you need to drive a wedge into something in communication, you're going to put it down, and that's just the way that it's going to be, really, at the end of the day. Some of you could have a little bit of a hard time in disagreement to articulate yourself, going, gee, I wish I would have said that. Oh, gee, I wish I would have done that instead. Once you ruminate over it, try not to ruminate too much. Things are playing out exactly as they need to, despite the circumstances of situations. Either they're going to heal in time or they won't. I think your position this week per Spirit is to do the healing work for yourself. If other people follow along, fantastic. If they don't, hey, that's on them, right? So there's something about that, but you're reflecting some things back this week, Scorpio. Could be a little bit of silence, even though there's communication. You may just be open to hearing and listening to certain things. But it doesn't mean that you're going to strike. I do feel like somebody may feel like they have a position of power or authority over you, where they're used to seeing you kind of like as the underdog. Yeah, last week I was visiting with a friend, and we were talking about the UFC fights. And he was telling me, he's like, man, I bet on this one guy. He's like, and I just really thought that he was going to win because he's a beast. But then he got in the ring with someone who was 110% the underdog. And man, I wish I would have put my money on him instead. Scorpio, if you've been down and out, not feeling your best self, somebody could see you as like, I'm going to snag on Scorpio a little bit. I'm going to throw those low blows. Scorpio, they might be surprised, which I don't know why at this point. You're going to rise to the occasion. You don't tuck your tail. You don't, you're not going to bow down, but I also feel, as I say about your tail, like you see this white snake in this here, that band might be important to you too. That's a long time ago, but still showing my age. But the white snake shows up in purity, in that lighter color of the duality, right? Of the light versus the dark. And with that being said too, Scorpio, even though you've got that stinger, and even though like I feel like in this past year or so, you've learned how to tame that side of yourself, where it's like, I don't have to come out guns a-blazing or stinger locked and loaded as much as I used to. I just know when it's time to go, you know what? I'm just not going to engage. I know when to walk away. And, if anything this week requires you to walk away, I think that's exactly what you're going to do, okay? So with that being said, let's get down to the days of the week here. That was a big message in that Mercury message, right? With Scorpio moving into Mercury, or Mercury moving into Scorpio, it's blunt. It's blunt, honest truth. It's communication. It's Spirit is saying it's seamless, though. So even if you feel like you should have said more or done more, your message is being heard loud and clear. I want you to know that, okay? So let's see. As I said, letting go, just talked about that. You will just be done with it. Electronization, that is communication. That is electronics. That is emails. That is phone calls. That's more of that communication energy right there this week. You're going to know what to let go of and where to put your energy and efforts into. So with that being said, Scorps, on Monday, what are we looking at here, Spirit? Silence. Said you might be a bit quieter. Silence, keep silent, coercion, and hint. I talked about the snake. Look at that. There it is, Scorpio. Like, man, that's everything we just said, and there it is. Like, Spirit works. I could say, they say what God works in mysterious ways. Scorpio, you work in mysterious ways, and that is your wheelhouse, the 8th house of mystery, right? That is you, and I do feel like there's some mystery. As I say that, I go to pick up the snake card to lay it down as the underlying for Monday. Look what's in there, Scorpio, mystery. You might be, by way of your more stillness in nature this week, creating some mystery. Maybe if you've been the one sitting in some sort of confusion, the answers are going to come in loud and clear is what I'm hearing from Spirit. But more importantly, I feel like with that specific energy, Scorpio, like if someone else has left you in the fog or not been clear with you, I'm hearing you're kind of returning the favor. And I don't think this is an intentional like tit for tat kind of thing. This is just going, some things you don't need to know. Or you could be dealing with somebody too. Spirit is saying that, you know, maybe they kept you in a space of, well, Scorpio really didn't need to know that. And now 10:01 on the clock, you're mirroring something back to somebody else. And it's like, oh, they're getting, I'm going to say to you, they're getting a dose of their own medicine, but not because that's your intention. You're not looking at this going, well, watch this. It's just the way you're knowing where to pull back your energy. You're knowing where to take your time with certain things. That this full moon is going to be very powerful for you to, like, Spirit is saying, erect your force of nature. You are Scorpio. Snakes, they slither, they're quiet, they're sneaky, you don't always know that they're there. Scorpio, there's a lot around this particular message. And the one thing I will say to you, and I said this last week, these days of the week, take them as individual messages. Some of these may resonate with you, some of them may not. The days may play out differently for you, but there's definitely this energy surrounding you this week, okay? So on Tuesday for Scorpio, what does Scorpio need to know? Apple coming out in the reverse. So that's in the upright is wisdom, death, sexuality, joy. Underlying that is sing. Man. Scorpio, here's the thing. You know, you won't get, using the UFC thing again, you're not going to get into a ring where you know you're going to be beat. If you're like, if that's not my territory, if that's not my wheelhouse, I genuinely don't think that I've got enough to know about that. I don't have enough knowledge on that particular subject. It's like people who will flap at their gums just to say something because they want to sound important. You know when to speak and when not to speak. And it's like, if I don't have enough knowledge to back up what I'm talking about, then I'm just not going to say anything at all. Some of you may go off and, you know, obtain that information or become, you know, educated on a certain thing. Others of you, you just may have no interest in it whatsoever and go, it's just not my wheelhouse, not my cup of tea. But I do feel like you're going out to gain the knowledge, the information, things you didn't know about. So you could be honing in on a skill set, expanding your horizons, because you're like, I'm not going to just senselessly talk about something I know nothing about, like so many people do, right? People get on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and they just, oh, I heard this, so it must be true. And without, you know, quote, fact checking something, they just assume that, oh, there's no way, you know. So I do feel like if you're going to stand up and be on a soapbox, you're going to know what the hell you're talking about before you go there. So that's Tuesday. On Wednesday, and we're going to clarify these. For Wednesday, for Scorpio, please, Spirit. Pollution, infection, parasite, and poison, letting go. Some of you could be breaking, Spirit saying traditional viewpoints again. That's been a recurring theme. And with Pluto getting ready to go back direct in Aquarius, on, I think it's the 13th, the 11th or the 13th, I'm not surprised to see that. So we're refining the things that we know are no longer serving us and going, this is toxic, this is unhealthy, this is a habit, this is a pattern, this is a whatever. Finally surrendering to a particular process for yourself that opens you up outside of chaos. On Thursday for Scorpio, suspicion. Ooh, we had another card fall on Wednesday, so hold on, we'll come back to that. Thursday, suspicion, vigilance, hostility, and jealousy, hugs. There could be a shadow side of somebody, Scorpio, that you're dealing with this week. That, again, there's this air of mystery around you and even things. And it's almost like where you've been a bit quieter than your norm this week. Someone's kind of like, boy, Scorpio's a little cold. Scorpio's a little detached. Maybe I need to go warm them up. I don't want to call it love bombing yet, but it's like somebody is kind of wondering what it is about you. You may be wearing darker colors. You may be leaning more into the darkness of this October season. But you are definitely, people don't know where you're at right now. Whether this is physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, like it's almost like you're going within, but it's almost like you've cloaked yourself, right? You're throw over the cloak and they may not see you as they once did. Like you're becoming a bit, Spirit saying supersonic, which is interesting. You think about, so is it Sonic the Hedgehog? Like he zooms, right? Scorpio, it's like here today, gone tomorrow. Spirit saying, don't try me, don't press my buttons, just don't go there. Some people may not realize there is another side of Scorpio that exists. This week, again, I don't feel like there's a stinger kind of coming out. I don't feel like you're in that energy. That, again, the white purity of that snake there is, I come in peace. But sometimes I don't need to come at all, right? So there's that. You're having acceptance for where you need to be. A lot of it has to do with the mind, Scorpio, this week. On Friday for Scorpio, divine timing comes out sideways. So something short, passion, there is something this week. Keep people core of the problem and pass. By Friday, this softer side of you shows up. There are people around you or environment, Scorpio, that are real, like, these could be newer people, newer groups, newer whatever in your environment, or people that have just, even if they've been around for a long time, they tend to take your kindness for weakness, right? I feel like the majority of the week, you're all business. Whatever your goals are, what you know you need to do, you're all business. And people maybe haven't seen that's like a serious side of you, in the sense of, when I say something, I mean it. And what you get from me is ultimately a reflection of what you've given to me. So it's almost like, it's kind of funny, that's divine timing coming out sideways. I'm kind of seeing it as like a scales, the Libra scales, right? Balancing out. You're deciphering what the problems truly are and what they aren't. And by the end of the week, you could be leaning back into your softer side. I feel like someone around you is wanting to heal something with you. But it's like, fuck with the Scorpio and find out, right? F-A-F-O. Like, that's where you are this week. Your energy is heightened. Your sensitivities are heightened. If you've been feeling a little bit of self-pity or sulky about certain things, ruminating excessively on certain aspects, it's like overcritical, like all these things have kind of led you to this point of, I need to kind of morph within, and then we'll figure it out from there. Okay, so very important energies this week, Scorpio. They're big energies, and they're all having to do with other people around you. Scorpio, that's a lot of stuff happening. All right, so let's clarify. Let's go back to Monday here. This silence, that snake, that mystery. What is this about for Scorpio this week, Spirit, on Monday? Scorpio, your eyes could be seething. It's like somebody says something and you may say nothing and your eyes say it all. Like, that's Page of Cups, Ten of Cups. Your eyes say it all. You just, there are people who have a poker face and there are people that don't, Scorpio. Your face says everything that your mouth does not. So if anybody, and that, I think, thank you, Spirit, is the thing that can be very intimidating about you. It's like, say the wrong thing and I may bite my tongue, say nothing to you, but you're going to know exactly what I'm thinking just by everything that is, it's like the words are written on my face, right? So that's how I feel about this week for you on Monday. So on Monday, Page of Pentacles, or excuse me, the Knight of Pentacles with the Empress. Scorp's Hierophant at the bottom. Those traditions, viewpoints. Here's the interesting thing, Scorpio. The Empress here, you think about her, that's birth, that's life, that's creative life force energy. She's the mother of the tarot, right? She is the nurturer, the giver, all of those things. The Hierophant is not her match. but it's a spiritual calling of change with her dynamic. Again, I'm talking about that softer side of Scorpio, that lighter side that goes, I don't need to be vicious. I don't need to be vicious. But that Page of Pentacles is like, well, Scorpio, let me give you a little bit of this thing, right? This tangible idea or thought, or this, let's turn this thought into something tangible. There we go. Thank you, Spirit. But there's a pause that comes with this Hierophant. I was telling the channel members in their read today, like, he's calling order into chaos is exactly what I told them. And with his hand up, I use the example of like walking into a room, giving a speech, or you're needing to give a speech and everybody's in there chattering before the assembly, right? And you're like, okay, quiet, let's get down to business. It's almost as if somebody in that room, Scorpio, comes forward and says, well, here, what about this? The Empress here to me, as a person, Scorpio being you, is discerning. Does that create an environment in which things can grow from? And there might be something there, call it food for thought, if you will, that says, does this resonate with me? Because I feel like this week you're leaning more into your spiritual side, the mystery, again, of Scorpio, who Scorpio is, how Scorpio operates. And maybe you need to go back in and reevaluate what that looks like for you. How does that work for you so that you can move through calmer waters? There's something very specific to that energy on Monday in the silence. And for some of you, you could be having conversations with people, and have you ever talked to someone who just doesn't shut up, and in the back of your mind you're going, please just be quiet. Please just stop talking. I can't listen to another second of this. This Empress almost looks slightly uncomfortable to me. Scorpio, it's like whatever's coming in for you, or whoever's saying whatever to you, it almost makes you uncomfortable. It's almost like you're not quite believing or buying what they're selling to you. There's more to it than meets the eye. And you, being your intuitive, incredible self, is going, I'm just going to take that information. I'm going to sit with it. Maybe later on in the day or later this week, you have a moment of, now I know what they're talking about. But there's something about it that says there's more to this than meets the eye. It's like somebody doesn't want you to be comfortable, Scorpio. Someone doesn't want you to be comfortable. Clarify these two. The King of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sag, Five of Swords. King of Wands with the Five of Swords. I'm going to just call him a liar. Call him a liar. It's kind of like a standoff energy. Scorpio, you are much more mature than this Knight of Pentacles, obviously, if we're looking at the hierarchy of the deck. It's almost like her hand is behind her head. Watch your arm, your armpit area, like anything through here, right? Pay attention to that area. You could be sleeping with your arms up in some way. Spirit saying trying to catch your breath, by the way. So just, be aware of that. But this is also somebody, Spirit is saying, that would take cheap shots. You're not going to tolerate, is what I'm hearing. You're not going to tolerate that particular type of behavior. Okay? But you're taking the information. That's the thing with this Five of Swords. You're taking that information and you're gathering. It's almost like a squirrel going off to gather nuts for hibernation season, right? I'm going to go out and gather my food. I'm going to go out and gather the information that I need so that I can move on from that particular situation, or be fed throughout the winter months. Like there's a feeding of information. Let go, make room for the new beginnings on its way to you now. Challenges. You're definitely pushing through and persevering here, Scorpio, on Monday. But that inner healing is the point to this card as I look at it, is, again, you're going within. There's something within you going within and going, this is the way we're going to handle this. You just may not be sharing any news or information about how you're doing, what you're doing with anybody. And really, it's as much as Scorpios are curious and we want to know everything about everybody else, part of the metamorphosis of you is not allowing other people in your energy to subtract, is what I'm hearing from Spirit, subtract from the abundance that you're trying to bring into your life, because the Empress is very abundant. You won't let anybody just have that for free. Okay, so on Tuesday, this, I said to you about like needing to learn something or needing to have the information. What is this about, Spirit, on Tuesday for Scorpio? Holy smokes. Page of Wands comes out in the reverse. Scorpio, you could be starting something new. 9 of Pentacles underneath that. You could be starting something new. And as I say that, the Page of Wands in the upright to me is a card of opportunity. Seeing where our seeds have grown, planted. You're seeing the end of a cycle with this particular situation, because the star is like, I know what has worked in this particular situation. I know what hasn't worked either in this particular situation. Some of you are moving out of a time of just ideas and going, you know, it's like having 15 minutes of fame, Scorpio. This sing, praise, star performance, the star itself. You're realizing, how do I want to put this? It's almost like you're redoing something that you've already done, but on a new level. I hope that's making sense. Like, clarify this. I'm trying to find the words here, Scorpio, for Tuesday. I said it's like you're 8 of Pentacles. You're working towards this Queen of Wands energy, the Death card, the Ace of Swords, Scorpio. There is a new revelation of clarity that's coming in. There are things you may not know, things you're going to need to learn. I do think you're going to embody that energy. It feels like the time is right. The time is now. That Aries energy pushing through. Something so heavy about harvest season, and I just go, it's the harvest moon. I'll listen to some Neil Diamond. Is it Neil Diamond? Yeah. Harvest moon. Scorpio, you're working on a new plan. You're working on a new plan, a new way of actioning some goals, finances, structure, stability. Like, you know, and part of this problem could be around an air sign. Again, Scorpio, you and air signs with my reads, I can't get away from it. That's been part of the problem. You could have been dealing with an air sign that just bleeds you financially, emotionally, mentally dry to where you've got nothing left to give. Guardian, you are protected though. Like, you are protected. Your pets, animals around you could be very important, but there's this sense of comfort that comes in going, once I've got this game plan in mind, I know exactly where I'm going, I know exactly what I need to do, and I'm heading that direction. I do feel like I want to get another card on that, though, specifically. What else about this energy on Tuesday? What is Scorpio learning? Romantic night. Scorpio. Man, Scorps, you are... If somebody... I said this. People are seeing another side of you. If this is some kind of... I'm going to call it entanglement. Somebody's beginning to realize how fucking serious you truly are. Like, you're not playing games. Once Scorpio makes up their mind, they know what they want, they're going after it. And people who can't rise to the occasion, you'll conserve your energy. You'll reserve your energy. You will, I said about the look of something. Look at her eyes. Like, everything is written on her face. Everything is written on her face. And behind that is rejection. a firm rejection. It's, again, her face. Look at that. It's like, he's like, hey, you know, what about this? And she's like, nope. Nope. Scorpio, if you've given other people in your life a position of authority in some form, whatever's transpired, you're taking that back. You're like, you tend to give people the ability or the benefit of the doubt to see what they do, how they show up, what they try with you, to see if it's going to go anywhere. It's like, give it time. Let them see how they're going to show up. If you feel rejected, slighted, things haven't been even in some regard, you're going to pull your emotional reserves in a snap of a finger, right? Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do instead. You have no remorse for that, as you shouldn't, right? Again, you need to protect yourself. All right, on Wednesday, that other card that fell out, I just flipped it over, collection. Spirit just said, you've seen all you need to see by Wednesday. With something or someone, I've seen all that I need to see. Somebody could be giving a gift. You could be handing a box of things to somebody or vice versa. But it's like, you've got a taste. You've got a taste for something, Scorpio. Some of it will work. Some of it doesn't work. Again, this is like you weeding things out this week to start this new cycle from the Aries full moon, right? We're completing the cycle that happened back in Aries season with the new moon. Here we are, full moon. It's a completion of a 6-month cycle. We're starting anew, right? With the new moon in Libra, and it was like 2 weeks out. Yeah, 2 weeks from today or so. Or yeah, about today. So again, starting to kind of like, the last 6 months, this is what I've dealt with. I've weeded people out. I've weeded situations out. I've weeded job aspects out. I've all the things. Now where do I go from here? And again, you're obtaining, once again, obtaining some information. Whether this is internally, Scorpio, this is out in the world at large, this is just dealing with other people. You're obtaining this very important aspect of information so you know what you need to do. And it's like, hey, if you're sticky, yucky, you know, like, we're not doing this. We're letting it go. We're either going to wash this clean or something's going to happen, right? It's like the Dawn dish liquid ducks, right? Page of Pentacles, 8 of Swords. It's things that have held you back, and I think you literally, 7 of Wands, you're defending your position on this so that the Wheel of Fortune, things can move forward. I think about it. Like, I use honey every day in my tea. That's my thing. And when you're pouring the honey out, right, it might slide down or drip down the sides or whatever, and you pick up that bottle and it's sticky as shit. You know, you see the ducks in the Dawn commercials, right? They're covered in pollution. They use the Dawn dish liquid. They clean up the ducks and get all the yuck off of it. Scorpio, same kind of vibe Wednesday. You're getting the yuck off of shit. Maybe you are cleaning, right? Maybe tidying up. Like, I'll run my honey bottle under hot water to rinse it off, you know, make it clean again. But what you realize is it's nothing. That 8 of Swords is our own personal restrictions. Things that we've allowed to run us a mental muck. You could be cleaning out it's like cleaning the cobwebs out of your own mind and going, these things are not serving me. This isn't doing me any good. It's just sticky shit. It's sticky, illusionary shit that I've held myself under for too long, and I'm not going to do this to myself anymore. So I feel like you could be dealing with people that have, I don't even know, Scorpio, that all of them have run you amok. I think it's some parts of your mind as well, to be honest with you, right? No shade. I'm just telling you how it is. Spiders could be crawling, like, this is going to sound so weird, and I'm not trying to freak anybody out. Spiders could be crawling, like, you could be sitting there and someone points out, there's a spider crawling behind you. Like, I don't know, Spirit just brought that in, so heads up. Or a bug or something. But this 8 of Swords is, Spirit says it's a good sign because it means some of that gunk in your mind is leaving. It's like, if it's behind you, it's leaving. But building castles in the sand. What in the hell, Spirit? Building castles in the sand. Don't hold people, places on pedestals this week either, Scorpio. Don't do that. Your boundaries need to be very firm. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do. But the Eight of Swords is something that you've got the right to break through or break free from at any time. And I do think that you've gained enough wisdom and insight around something specific, the Lovers, and now you've got choices. This could pertain to a love situation. 2 6s here, but you are definitely moving on from this, whatever this is. It could just be another small cycle in itself. But again, it's like the hands are out, right? I talked about the hand on the Hierophant. When you look at the, let me cover these up just in case. Look at the hands of that angel above. It's again, a call to order. Like, here's the deal. When you finally get to that point, if you talk with your hands like I do, very Italian of me, here's the deal. This is what I'm saying to you. When the hands start going, that's that. You know, it's that kind of thing. What else for Scorpio on Wednesday? Spy and air sign. You could have, listen, okay, I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but I'm going to put it in this very specific context. Couple of things. One, you could have somebody who is an air sign watching you. You may be going somewhere with somebody and you've got somebody actually spying on you. That's for a few of you, not everybody. You are doing your research on a particular person, subject, environment again, right? Some things may not be as they seem as well, and I think there's something about you that knows that internally. Like, it feels like solar plexus kind of energy, like you know something, right? Again, solar plexus is you're confident about the fact that, like, when that feeling comes through, you know. It's just a matter of when you know the details to the subject. Okay, so again, these hands, look at this. The hands, again, that's 3 times now. As above, so below, Spirit is also saying. Connect with your guides. Make sure this week you are connecting with your spirit guides. For others of you, some of you could be out in public with your person or somebody, and all eyes are on you. Like, it's almost like somebody that you're around doesn't, like, you could be famous, right? You could be YouTube famous. You could be locally well known. You know, you could be internationally known, whatever it is. But I don't think that somebody fully understands the significance of who you are. It's like you walk through the crowds and everybody stops to look. Maybe they don't really know you, but there's an energy, Scorpio, that you let off that goes, I'm important. Pay attention, whether you mean to or not. Metaphor of love, unrequited love. This again is like, I said about being out and about. Look at this, social events. Somebody reconcile. Somebody here could have taken you lightly. I don't know that well, some of you could have been juggled, not gonna lie. But now there's something here that is going, somebody else could be having conversations with somebody else about you, going, I didn't think that this was going to go this far. I didn't think that I was going to feel a certain way. I didn't think that I was going to see Scorpio in this particular light. Your fire energy, Scorpio, I see you very much as the Queen of Wands too. What do you get with air and fire? An explosion. May not be super dramatic for you, but for another person dealing with you, it's like an ignition switch. They have to pay attention now. That whatever was light, fun, curious, flirty. Sure, Scorpio, you've had your fun, you've done your thing, you've mingled, you've done whatever it's been the last, Spirit specifically, 8 weeks. But now, it's time to get down to business. They're seeing the other side of Scorpio. that there is another side to Scorpio, and it's coming out. So it's a wild kind of energy, Scorpio, but there are multiple sides to you. The duality of Scorpio, right? So there's something very specific to that, okay? Thursday, the suspicion. Again, you kind of being in the shadows, someone wanting to come in towards you. What is this about? Knight of Wands coming in towards you. Knight of Wands with a Knight of Cups underneath. The pink, Don't Let Me Get Me. I can't remember the words to that song. This could be someone, Scorpio, Six of Swords. Eight of Cups. A lot of cards of movement here. A lot of cards of movement. Fast moving energy too. And it's kind of like tempering. The need to temperance energy. Temper how fast we move into something. And it's like, you don't have to move super fast at anything, but there needs to be progress. Right? And I feel like with that energy, something that someone has been holding back, something that you know that's been held back, it's not emotionally serving something or someone that you've been connected to. You may have moved quickly on some things in the past, and now you're like, okay, your turn. Can you keep up to speed with me? Whether this is work, love, whatever it is for you, can you keep up with me? Because there's a lot in there, Scorpio, right? There's a lot that lives within you. And once you take that retreat and you pause, giving someone else the room to see how they show up, that's a game changer. Because someone's realizing there's a certain way about this particular situation that has not lived up to its fullest potential. There is no more of sitting here thinking about it. Now it's time to action some plans. I feel like you've put the heat on somebody else. As you've stepped back into the shadows of something this week, someone else is being forced to have to step into the light. You know, you see, there's the darkness of the suspicion card. And I think for you, it's more of a wonder, like, how is this going to take place? From the dark to the light. Again, a lot of duality here, Scorpio. How does this situation show up for me? You know, this could be a job. Made you some promises, you've put in the work, now you're waiting on the raise. I fulfilled my obligation. Are you going to step up and do the right thing now? Time will tell. Eight of Cups, though, the High Priestess. There is a silence in that, Scorpio, that it's like everybody already knew. It's weird. Even though they didn't realize the fire that lived within you, it's almost like they were caught off guard. Eight of Cups to the High Priestess. They seen it, they felt it, but they didn't understand it yet. But now all of a sudden, here you are, Queen of Pentacles, and there's the Justice card with her, going, we're gonna make the playing field fair, and if I feel slighted again in any way, I'm gonna Scorpio, you reminding yourself of what balance and stability looks like. The field will be fair. There will be even number of checkers on both sides of the board when we start this game, right? What are you investing? This situation or person or spirit said purpose too, is simple. What is the purpose of this coming together in whatever this is? What is the long-term goal? Not the short term, but the long-term goal in whatever the situation might be for you. And Scorpio, not that you owe anybody an explanation for what you are deserving of, because you don't. You owe nobody nothing in that regard. But now it's showing up. It's like, not that they didn't know it. It could have been fun. It was like, hey, let's get through this project. Let's do this thing. Let's do this love thing. Let's do this project, whatever it might be. But then they realize it's like somebody going, you know, if you're dealing with a contractor or something too, just as an example, that they come in and maybe, you know, you live minimalistic and you're like, I want to get this project done. And they think you make X amount of dollars a year, which really in their mind isn't much. So how are you going to be able to afford? They come in kind of cocky and they're like, we could do this and we could do that. And then they give you this high ass bid. And they're like, well, you know, we could do this. And it's almost like they're trying to give you this bid to push it to the point that you won't be able to accept the challenge of making that payment or paying for that renovation or whatever you're doing. And then when you show up and say, oh, that's all it's going to be, I thought it would be more. It's almost like you catch them off guard and they're like, well, wait a minute. And you're like, well, when can you start? I can write you the check today. They're taken back by what you show up as. Like, it's not that they necessarily, I mean, they could in some ways, in some facets, believe that you're not capable in some form. But there's something by the end of this week, Scorpio, makes them rethink your value. Makes them realize you're not playing games. You're dead serious when it comes to whatever it is that you're working on. And you can come in kind of light and airy, kind of airy. You could kind of come in kind of mysterious and not realizing, like, it's like, you know, there's that picture of Bill Gates, and I've mentioned this before, where he's standing outside of like a walk-up ice cream parlor window, and he looks like Joe Schmo. He could have been seen as homeless. If you didn't know who he was, he looks like the average Joe, right? Meanwhile, he's a billionaire. Careful how you treat people, because you never know what they have. You never know who they are. You never know the importance of that person. There's a fine lesson in this for someone around you this week, Scorpio, and your value is something that I feel like you have had to be conscientious of reminding yourself of who the fuck you are. Don't forget where you've come from, because you're a powerful being, okay? Important message in that for you. Anything else on this, Spirit? There's focus on your health, focus on your love for yourself, the comforts of life, Scorpio. Comforts of life. Pay attention to animals. That card continuously comes out for you. I'm hearing specifically new animals coming to you. Pay attention to what comes to you. I can tell you this morning I had a bush cricket. Like, I sat my phone down outside and I was doing some things, and I turn around and there's this cricket sitting right there. I'm like, I didn't even see that thing sitting there. Prosperity, abundance, good luck, things like that, good fortune coming to you, right? So whatever these animals are that are coming to you, it could be a toad, it could be an insect, it could be a fucking dog and the god blessed box turtle last week or the week before, whenever that was. If some of you are dealing with addictions, this Aries, something you've been dealing with back to Aries season till now, is coming to a full cycle too, health-wise. So you could, if you've been feeling shitty for 6 months, all of a sudden, boom, you could feel really good. Other way around too, right? So just be conscientious of your health as well. But I do feel like, Spirit, better days are ahead. So there you go. Anything else on this? Tybolt. Prince of Cats, fashion and aggressiveness. What are the, I've not seen that card come out of that deck yet. Fatherly love, controlling dogmatism. Capulet. Watch with dogs and cats. If you have dogs and cats specifically, dogs can be more aggressive towards cats. Cats are hissy, right? I feel as I say that to you, you could be very much in cat energy, right? Cats are, I will claw your face off, I will rip your eyes out, but they give off the warning of that hiss, right, Scorpio? You could be hissing a little bit this week. That's one way to put it. But some of you could be dealing with father wounds this week as well. If you've been a giver to your father, or the father type figures in your life, it's kind of like, I'm going to call it praying mantis energy, and obviously I would hope you're not doing anything weird with your father, but people get into some strange shit, by choice, not from force, that, you know, they mate and then they bite their lovers' heads off. Kill them. One and done, bitches. Right? Like, that's how that goes. Your skill set, man. People don't... Scorpio, what a strange energy. It's like, just because I love you Unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional boundaries. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to leave that there. All right, Friday, passionate love, thorns short, divine timing. Again, that came out sideways. There's something happening here with that. Don't mistake your kindness for weakness. Again, here, Scorpio, or I'm going to say cross watcher. Don't mistake Scorpio's kindness for weakness. Nine of Pentacles comes out sideways. Interesting, Scorpio. Seven of Pentacles. Keep your passion burning, but also continue to be okay with picking things apart that are still not working appropriately. Like, do be meticulous. Do be. There's something about that. To be or not to be. I don't know, Scorpio. Something about that, the way they come out, caught my attention. Be okay with picking it apart. King of Cups, there you are. The Chariot, Ten of Pentacles. Scorpio, some things aren't meant to last forever. Plain and simple. They're not meant to last forever. But you are moving, Six of Wands, into your victory. Ace of Wands, Four of Swords, the Hierophant, the Five of Wands. No matter what is going on in your world, your emotional balance takes you forward more than anything else into your practicality of a life of legacy, into a life of comforts and home, security. And if you have been plagued by things that just, they start off really good and then it's just like, now what? You know, don't lose patience. Don't lose faith. Don't lose your emotional reserve. Don't lose your emotional ability to drive yourself forward for the positive. It's like turning your love into money. All the love you have within, if you could turn that to $1, like, how many dollars would you have? Right? This is taking your nurturing and your caring and turning that into part of your legacy. These time periods of shortness that they don't seem to last, don't hold a fear of whether it's right or wrong, now or never. Just keep going. There's something to the idea of you just need to keep going. Okay, and Six of Wands is you having victory and success over things that have just not quite rotated accordingly, I could call it. What else on Friday? Pregnancy card comes out, Mercury retrograde, intimacy. By Mercury retrograde season, which I forget when it begins, some of you could find out that you are expecting. I do feel like there's been what I'm going to call a wedge. So a wedge between you and a person, a wedge between you and maybe your money, your home, structures, job, whatever this is. Partnerships, community, dealing with other people. It's like, you know, I got two cards of vehicles. The Chariot is the vehicle. It is the forward movement. And then Mercury retrograde, there's a car on there. Some of you could have car issues. Some of you could be getting a new vehicle to support your family, right? Take and do all the things you need to do, as a side note. But if there has been a divide between you, or a wedge between you and something else, do know that wedge is healing. It is coming. It's almost like you had to have this nanosecond of influx to remind, Scorpio, I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's you. Maybe in some ways. But the heavier part of that seems to be in that darkness. It's like, don't take for granted what you got. Be thankful for what you have. Love what you have. Appreciate what you have. Respect what you have. Because when you go back and you review how good it's really been, it was creating life. It was creating a new life, a new way. Again, something around fathers specifically. But it's time to move on. Like, Either you're gonna, the Leo energy, I will do this. I can. This is my will to do. Somebody could be writing a will, right? Knowing that in time they're going to move on from this physical world. It takes a lot of strength, I'm hearing from Spirit, to realize the reality of the world we live in. Realize that our souls are immortal, but our bodies are not. It's making the most of what you have, of the time that you have, of the family that you have. Scorpio, King of Cups to the Ten of Pentacles. Do you realize how blessed you truly are? Or does somebody who thought that this job or this project was short-lived, this relationship would probably be short-lived, this whatever was short-lived, like the importance that actually was beneath the surface. Scorpio, perhaps the importance beneath the surface of who you are to somebody that they did not see. There will be people who figure it out, and there will be people that will use you for the rest of your life so long as you allow it. There's a mystery around you this week that's making people think twice about where you fit in their life. And your ability to be you, to step back into the shadows, to reassess, is something that most people don't see you for. Don't be afraid to take that pause. Don't be afraid to tune out the rest of the world around you so that you get back in touch with yourself. Let them see. It's the way that you do things on your own that make people see who the fuck you really are. You can do it without anybody. You got Spirit with you all the time. You're never alone. But it's what you do in your own divine will that shows up in the test of time. There's a very important lesson this week, Scorpio, and I think you're learning it, and I think your emotional prowess in this is very important this week. How you persevere. And it doesn't look like most people. You really go deep. And when you go deep and into the darkest parts of yourself to excavate what you need to know, that's a side of you that I don't think certain people have seen. And maybe for some of you, you're just now stepping into understanding that side of you. And as you do, other people are seeing that and they're going, this is for real. Scorpio is for real. No head games. No playboy, playgirl energy. No here today, gone tomorrow. Scorpio is dedicated in a way that other people who've dealt with shallow people in jobs and situations. Again, if it's a job and you've put in this work on this project and they promised you a bonus, most people maybe would have gone, well, they just didn't give it to me. I'm not going to fight for it. And Scorpio, you're going to be at their door going, you're 3 days late. What are we doing here? You make people think twice. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Card of advice for the week, Akashic card. I'm going to take that one. Your soul growth reminder, Spirit said. This definitely went longer, but Scorpio, it's a full moon week. I wouldn't expect anything less. All right, Spirit. Words of wisdom here for Scorpio. Carry them through the week, please. Reclamation, Scorpio. Inner union. Your masculine and feminine energy, action and surrender, mind and heart. You are merging opposites into sacred wholeness. Honor your own completeness. And reclamation. Take a look at that beautiful card. Look at that. I love that her eyes are closed. And it's being lit up with inside of her. You are reclaiming lost pieces of yourself Memories, gifts, and power once buried are resurfacing. Welcome them back into your being with love and pride. Spirit just said, carry on. Scorpio, love and light to you. Personal reads, again, are open and available. Info is in the description box. You'll find the email. Reach out to me. I hope to see you all this evening. It'll probably be around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not a little bit earlier than that, somewhere, I'd say 7:30 to 8:30. I'm not going to put a reminder thing on there, but if you see me light up in your subscriptions, do join us. Do join us for that. Crossing my fingers all goes well today so we can get to that. But I'm sending you all so much love. Have a fantastic week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.